Hey there, and welcome. Have you ever stopped to think about how sentences actually work? How they're built? It turns out they're made from just a few key ingredients. And today, we're going to break down those exact building blocks, the 8 parts of speech. Getting a handle on these is pretty much the first step to really mastering English. So, let's jump right in. Okay, so let's kick things off with a pretty simple question. What job does a word actually do in a sentence? Think about it this way. In any town or city, right, you've got people with different jobs. Doctors, teachers, construction workers. Well, sentences are kind of the same. Every single word has a specific role to play. Some words are the namers, some are the action words, and others are there just to connect everything together. So, based on all these different jobs, we can sort pretty much every word in the English language into just 8 main groups. And guess what? That's exactly what the parts of speech are. It's really just a simple system that helps us understand how our language fits together like a giant puzzle. Now, I know what you might be thinking. 8 categories? That sounds like a lot to remember. But don't you worry, because I've got a super simple trick up my sleeve for you. It's a really neat memory tool that'll help you keep them all straight. All right, here it is. Navy DPCI. I know, it sounds a bit strange, but trust me, it's a fantastic way to remember all 8 parts. Let's walk through it. We've got N for noun, A for adjective, V for verb, and Y, well, that one's for adverb. Then we have D for determiner, P for pronoun, C for conjunction, and I for interjection. See? Navy DPCI. Say it out loud a couple of times. It's a great little trick to lock it in your memory. Okay, now that we have our awesome memory tool, let's go on a quick tour of each of the 8 parts of speech. We're going to go through them one by one so you can see exactly what job each one does. Ready? Let's get started. First up, we have nouns. Their job is super simple. They just name stuff: a person, a place, a thing, or even an idea. So in a sentence like, the teacher explained the lesson, the word teacher is the person and lesson is the thing. Easy, right? Nouns are what give our sentences a subject to talk about. All right, next up, pronouns. Think of pronouns as the stand-ins for nouns. Their whole job is to replace a noun so we don't sound like a broken record repeating the same name over and over. So instead of saying, Sarah was tired, so Sarah rested, we can just swap it out and say, so she rested. It just sounds so much smoother, doesn't it? Actually pretty simple. A noun just gives something a name, like girl or station. Then you have pronouns, like she. They're like the substitutes that jump in for a noun so we don't sound like a broken record, repeating the same word over and over. It just makes our sentences flow way better. Okay, time for a quick activity. In this sentence, the teacher explained the lesson. Which words are the nouns, the naming words? I'll give you a second. If you said teacher and lesson, you are 100% correct. Awesome job! And now for the real engine of the sentence, the verb. Verbs are all about action or a state of being. These are the doing words, the words that make things happen. For instance, in she runs every morning, the word runs is what brings that whole sentence to life. Without it, nothing's happening. Let's talk about adjectives. Their job is to be the artist of the sentence. They add all the color and detail by describing a noun. So a dress isn't just a dress. No, it's a beautiful dress. See how that works? Adjectives make our writing and speaking so much more interesting and vivid. Okay, what about adverbs? Well, these guys are also describers, but they usually describe the verbs. They tell us how, when, or where an action is happening. So in this sentence, she spoke softly. The adverb softly gives us that extra detail. It tells us how she spoke. So think of these 3 as a team. Verbs give us the action, like runs. Adjectives describe the nouns. It's not just a dress, it's a beautiful dress. And adverbs, well, they describe the verb. How did she speak? She spoke softly. And here's a great little tip. A lot of adverbs end in "wyly." Let's try another one. What's the action word in "the baby is sleeping"? Here, the verb is the whole phrase, is sleeping. It shows us what the baby is actually doing. Okay, how about this one? The old man smiled. Which word is describing the man? Yep, you got it. It's old. That's our adjective, adding a little extra detail. Next up, we have prepositions. You can think of these as relationship words. They show us the connection between a noun and some other word in the sentence. A lot of the time, they tell us about location or time.
For example, the book is on the table. That little word on tells you exactly where the book is in relation to the table.
Now for conjunctions. I like to call these the glue of our language. Their whole job is to join things together. Words, phrases, even entire sentences. Take a look at this. She was tired but continued working. See that word but? It's connecting two different ideas right there. Conjunctions are absolutely essential for building bigger, more complex sentences.
These down. Prepositions show relationships, like where the book is. It's on the table. Conjunctions, on the other hand, are the joiners. They're the glue that holds ideas together. And a super easy way to remember the most common ones is the acronym FANBOYS. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so.
Okay, your turn. The cat is the chair. Which preposition fits here? Well, both under and on would work perfectly. They both do the same job, showing the relationship between the cat and the chair. So, how would you connect this thought? I wanted to go, it was raining. The best word to use here is but, because it shows a contrast between wanting to go and the reason you couldn't.
And last but not least, we have interjections. These are your little bursts of emotion. Words like wow, or ouch, or hey. They don't really have a grammatical connection to the rest of the sentence. They're just there to add a bit of feeling and personality.
They just jump in there to express a sudden feeling. It makes writing feel so much more realistic. Can you spot the interjection in this sentence? Oh, I forgot my book. Of course, it's oh. You can just feel that sudden moment of realization in that one little word. How about we do a quick little self-check to see what you've learned? I'll show you a sentence with a highlighted word, and you try to figure out what part of speech it is. You ready for this? Okay, first one. The sentence is, she quickly finished her work. What do you think quickly is? I'll give you a second. It's describing how she finished her work, right? So that makes it an adverb. Nicely done. All right, here's the next one. The blue sky looked beautiful. What job is the word blue doing here? Think about it. Yep, it's describing the noun sky. So that makes it an adjective. You're getting the hang of this. And for the final question in our little quiz, he sat under the tree. What about the word under? What's its role? It's showing the relationship, the location between him and the tree. And that means it's a preposition. Fantastic. Great job, everyone. Seriously, excellent work. In just a few minutes, we've covered all 8 of the essential building blocks of English grammar. You now have that solid foundation you need to really understand how sentences are put together. So what's next? Well, now that you've got this strong foundation, we can start diving into some really cool topics, like all the different kinds of nouns and verbs, or how to build really powerful and complex sentences. Just remember, grammar isn't supposed to be scary. It's just a system, and now you've got the key to understanding it. Hey, if this was helpful for you, do us a favor and like, share, and subscribe to Nestlingua so you don't miss what's coming next.